sa review po natin ito. Foremost, I am Raymond Basco. Ako po yung course creator, nag-create ng course na ito. And I am a CS passer as well as passer of other six government examinations. I spent 17 years with the government and na-try ko na po halos lahat siguro ng exam ng government. And to tell you the truth, one of the hardest actually in terms of result, pag mag-base po tayo sa results, it's actually the civil service examination. Pero the hardest actually na natakol ko is, gusto nyo malaman? Give me a one dyan kung gusto nyo malaman kung ano yung hardest. In terms po sa result. Okay, Mon, give me a one kung gusto nyo malaman. Share po sa iyo. Share po sa inyo. The hardest actually na naranasan ko is actually the foreign service. That was way back in 2011. Grabe. It's actually one of the hardest na examinations Philippine sa Philippine Civil Service. Kasi considered civil service din yung foreign exam. Out of the 10,000 siguro na kumuha sa amin noong 2011, only 9 passed the examination and went on to become, tawag natin dito, foreign service officers. Napakahirap po yung exam na yun. Going to the civil service examination, kwentuhan muna tayo, no? The latest results actually is, nakakaano yung latest results. There are about 15% lang ang pumasa sa, it's not even 15%, 14.79% lang yung pumasa sa civil service examination. Bakit kaya nagkakaganan, no? And come to think of it, the latest TRC sa CPA board naman, yung pumasa sa kanila is about 34%. Ang pumasa naman sa CPA board. So, mas marami yung hindi pumapasa sa civil service examination. To tell you frankly, 12% ang pumasa sa professional and about 3% ang pumasa sa sub-professional naman. So, to round it off, naging ano na siya, 14.79%. Ang dami sigurong rason, daming dahilan dyan na nakikita natin, mas lalo na ngayon at yung Civil Service Commission, wala nang preference sa pag-take ng Civil Service Examination as long as 1 or 18 years old. Kahit na you are an undergrad, 2, as long as you do not have any record, pwede ka nang mag-take ng civil service examinations. What I mean to say is lumawak na yung playing field. Marami na yung kumukuha ng examination. Although it's the call of the civil service kung sino talaga ang gusto nilang mag-take. It's really their call kasi trabaho nila yan. Napaka ano naman na very wide, no? Lahat pwedeng kumuha. Anyway, meron din naman tayong college students na pumapasa sa civil service examination. What's actually the advantages kasi kapag pumasa ka na ng civil service examination? Number one, you're included into the civil service eligible role. Magiging civil service eligible ka na. And lahat ng trabaho sa government na pwede mong pasukan for civil service eligibles ay you are qualified. Pero tingnan naman natin dito kasi yung assumption ng karamihan dyan is pag civil service eligible ka pwede ka nang pumasok sa government. No, no? Hindi naman ganun kadali because we have the QS na sinasabi lang ng civil service. We have the qualification standards. So, ano naman yung angkop or ano naman yung tugma sa kalagayan mo? Are you a college undergrad or are you a college graduate? Doon naman makikita mo yan sa qualification standards ng Civil Service Commission. Hindi yung pag nakapasa ka na automatic ka na ba makakapasok ka ng government? Sure, makakapasok ka ng government or Pero meron pa rin yung QS na sinasabi ng civil service na basihan kung ano talaga yung work na para sa'yo or ano yung work na qualified ka. Hindi lang naman natin na once na nasa government natin, maganda yung position doon, permanent, yung trabaho doon. And we have also these benefits, napakaraming benefits. The DSIS, marami silang benefits actually sa civil service. I've been with the civil service for 17 years and I retired early to try business and ito naman yung negosyo na naisipan ko to help you, to help you take that civil service examination. Hmm? Are we okay? Type 1 lang kung okay so far. Okay. Karamihan sa atin ay yung karamihan na nagte-take actually ng civil service ay parang ano lang, yung pag-prepare nila ay hindi todo. I would like to advise you that as much as you have the time, as much as you have the time actually, todo kayo ng effort sa pag-take ng civil service examination kasi hindi po basta-basta ito. Hindi lang ito exam. This is actually a comprehensive, a general comprehensive examination. At malaki yung pagkakaiba nito sa mga exam na administered by the PRC. Diba sinabi ko sa nila na mas malaki, mas marami yung pumapasa sa PRC examination. Bakit kaya ganon? Because actually, the PRC examination is, they are specific. Very specific ang PRC examination. Kung ano yung na-review mo sa review courses mo taking the PRC examination, yun talaga ang lalabas. Whereas, the civil service examination, it is generic and comprehensive. Ano yung sinasabi nila na comprehensive? It is saklaw niya lahat yung mga naaral mo or na-take mo sa college. And it is comprehensive to the sense na kailangan na intindihin mo, kailangan na aralin mo kung ano talaga ang karga ng mga questions and the examination in general. Mm, late in this module, we will actually take kung ano talaga yung mga scope of coverages ng examination ng Civil Service Commission. And if you would stay on until the end, meron tayong bonus para sa inyo is actually the mock exam. The mock exam, bibigay din sa inyo. And every 2 modules, nagbibigay kami ng mock examination na that will make you actually ready for the civil service examination because it takes about 3 mock examinations for you to undertake bago kayo talaga makaprepare na mag-exam. So going back to our lecture today, we share you the secrets kung paano po papasa sa civil service examination. We're actually doing the BDO Hub framework. Ano ito? We're actually preparing you first. You must have to prepare your mindset first. Prepare natin yung capability nyo to take the examination. Ito kasi yung hindi nakikita ng mga iba eh. Iba pumupunta lang sila sa examination. At pag nandoon na sila, grabe na ang kaba. Ang kaba na nila na or they have this anxiety, ninenervyos na sila going into the examination. Sa preparation po natin, we'll first take your anxiety out, we'll make you confident, and of course, we'll teach you the techniques and the strategies on how to pass the examination. So ano yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon? It is cracking the exam code, test-taking secrets, and error-proof strategies on how to pass the examination. For sure, kasi ang gumagawa kasi ng examination natin sa civil service, hindi po artificial intelligence yan. Tao din po sila. And gumagawa sila ng mga secrets, gumagawa sila ng mga tricks dyan para mas lalong magkakamali kayo Or parang binubulabog ba kayo sa pagte-take ng examination? Yan ang role ng mga questions na yan. At ang daming style, ang daming techniques kung paano nila ginagawa yan. So ano naman ang gagawin natin? We'll actually take these strategies. We will learn these strategies on how to actually identify yung mga sikreto nila, ang mga tricks nila. So, the first one is to spot the trick questions. We must have to spot the trick questions. Kaya nang sabi ko kanina, examination makers would always make sure na hindi mo magigets, hindi mo makukuha yung right answers. So, they made examination traps for you. They made that for you so that the easier you will fall. Kaya kailangan na aralin natin ito ng maigi. And the advantage actually of knowing the common exam traps and to avoid and how to avoid them, avoiding the common exam traps will actually, it will save you time. Makakapag-answer ka ng mabilis para may magagamit ka na oras mo sa inyong pag-review. So, ano na yung mga common traps na talaga na nandito? Take note of it, that the more that you will learn of the common traps, the more that you would actually save time in taking the examination, and the more that you could actually use the given time properly sa examination. The first one, watch out for absolute words. Words na gaya ng always, all, never, none, only, often. Nasabi ng mga Briton, indicate a false statement. Usually, dito napapasok naman ang comprehension. Basahin na maigi ang question. Dito naman sa isang module namin, naituro ko kung paano babasahin yung question using the 3 seconds method. Meron yan sa ibang module on how to read the questions and using the 3-second method. Pero dito, sa module natin na ito yung sinasabi niya, watch out for absolute words. Like always, all, never, none, only, often indicate a false statement. Kasi ito yung mga sinasabi nila. Lalong ano to, sinasabi nila palagi ito sa assumption and conclusions, sa verbal analysis, and sa logical reasoning. Palagi ito. Tingnan natin kung paano nila ginagamit ang mga ito. The first example is the Constitution never allows amendment. Definitely, pagbabasahin mo, that is actually incorrect. If you comprehend it, if intindihin mo yung question, you would definitely see that it is incorrect. Never is absolute. Ang Constitution daw ay hindi pinapayagan ang pagbabago nito. Translate it in your dialect to understand more. That word never actually is absolute. That makes the statement incorrect or wrong. Mas maigi pa, or it's more reasonable if they use the word rarely. Yan nila ginagawa. Ganyan talaga ginagawa ng mga test makers natin, yung mga statement. The other absolute word is all. Tingnan nyo kung paano nila ginawa yan. All teenagers are irresponsible. Hindi naman lahat siguro ng teenagers are responsible, di ba? Some maybe can be or maybe responsible, but many are very responsible. Dito mo man ginagamit yung comprehension mo or yung pagkaintindi mo sa question and how they use these absolute words to actually trick you. No? If you look at them, if you learn more of them, Parang kung minsan it is incorrect or illogical, paglalabas naman ito sa logical analysis, it is illogical yung statement. Yan ang mga isang kadalasan na ginagamit nila para matrick kayo or para ano ang sinabi nila doon, mapasil kayo kung totoo ba o hindi yung statement. So, those are the examples for the absolute words. Okay, as we transition, punta naman tayo sa double negatives. Double negative is negative, negative equals negative. Or yung mga iba, ito yung sinatawag nila na redundancy. No? Paano nila ginagamit ito? Sobrang ginagamit talaga ito sa examination sometimes eh. So that they could actually trick you and the more that they could get most of your time sa pagbasa mo sa examination or sa exam questions before delving into the answers. Pero meron namang ano dyan, meron namang solution dyan na sinasabi nila na pwede mong gawin para ma-solve mo ang problema na ito. So ano ang gagawin mo dyan? These are the examples. Which of the following is not an important factor in decision making? In decision making, saan yan? Which of the following is not an insignificant detail in the report? Pag tingnan mo, ano yung negative dyan? It is the word not and the word unimportant or insignificant. Pag tinitingnan mo yan, double-double yan. That's actually to trick you para mawawalan ka ng oras or definitely to trick you in looking for the answers. So, ano ang gagawin mo dito? Just convert it into a simpler form or gawin mo siyang positive. Paano gagawin yan? Which of the following is an important factor in decision making? Alisin mo yung an or yung in sa question mo. Alisin mo siya. What? Which of the following is not an uncommon skill? Imbis na ganun siya, gawin mo siyang which of the following is a common skill among employees. That's a very big factor in problem solving. Napakalaki po na factor ito going into the examination. When you're thinking of pag tinignan natin yung civil service examination, is actually a 170 questionnaire that you will answer in 3 hours and 10 minutes. Tapos kasali pa yung mga mathematical questions dyan, abstract reasoning questions dyan. Tapos binigyan ka ng ganitong mga klase ng questions. Definitely, you'll have to read it to understand the question. But the trick here, when you encounter double negatives, is to convert it into a positive at mas maintindihan mo pa. Which of the following is not an incorrect statement about the process? Tinatanong sa iyo yan. Make it simpler. Which of the following is a correct statement about the process? Yan ang technique dyan. Kasi yan ang isa sa mga tricks na ginagawa nila for the test paper or the examination paper o yung test paper na tinetake natin sa examination. Be careful with all of the above and none of the above choices. This is one of my favorites. Kasi pag naaral mo ang technique na ito in the answer sheet, ang equivalence actually nito is it's either ganito ang ano niyan eh. Automatic. You must have to consider all of the above and none of the above and study the 3 remaining answer choices. Yun naman yan. Yun ang trick dyan. For the all of the above item, if the first two, sabihin natin, usually nasa letter D. Nasa letter D naman na choice yung all of the above and the none of the above. Eh. If the first two answer choices are correct, most probably that is all of the above. 99% all of the above yan pag tama yung dalawa. You could actually skip the third one. Yan ang sikreto dyan. Pag isa naman, pag dalawa naman sa choices ay mali, that is automatic none of the above. Pag dalawa sa choices mo ay mali, that is none of the above. Pero pag on the first question and the second question, the first question is wrong, the second question is right, ano na, letter D is absolutely wrong. There must have to be a right answer that it should not be none or all of the above. Yan naman ang technique dyan sa all of the above and none of the above choices. Okay. If the first two answers are correct, most likely it's all of the above. Or likely, it's very likely na ang answer mo is all of the above. If the first two answers are wrong, most likely or probably your answer is none of the above. Pero the first and the second question the first question is right and the next question is wrong. Wala na. You cross out the none of the above or the all of the above choice because you have an answer. Yun ang shortcut naman yan. And it's an advantage. Paano nagiging advantage yan? Kasi tatlong choices lang ang pagpipilian mo. If you know, kung alam mo yung technique naman yan. Pag dalawang tama ka agad yung nandoon sa choice mo, that is all of the above. Pag dalawang tama naman ang incorrect or wrong, take a look at it. Baka yung third choice mo naman ay tama. Diba? But if tatlo pag dalawang none of the above, most probably your answer is, pag dalawang mali, most probably your answer is none of the above sa choices mo. Yun naman ang technique natin dito. Tingnan natin yung examples. Which of the following best reflects the constitutional mandate of the Commission on Human Rights under the 1987 Philippine Constitution? Remember that the Commission on Human Rights is a constitutional body under the Philippine Constitution. It does not belong to the legislative, judicial, or the executive branch of government. It is a constitutional body. So it is independent of the three functions of government. It has the power to prosecute human rights violation in courts. That is a power of the executive through the power of the Department of Justice. So it is wrong. It serves as a legislative body that enacts human rights laws that is actually embodied or embedded. And it's a part of the work of Congress, so it's wrong. It investigates human rights violations involving civil and political rights. And the last one is all of the above. What is the right answer? Ano yung answer natin dito?
Letter C po.
Okay, it's letter C, right? Tama tayo. Letter C tayo dito. And taking the tricky question, tinignan mo, mali ka agad yung dalawa, pero letter D is not none of the above. It is all of the above. So you must have to have a choice to answer the right answer. Pero pag ang ginawa dito is ginawang tama yung A and B, then your answer is all of the above. Another example is this. Which of the following is true regarding the Bill of Rights in the Philippine Constitution? The first to answer is, tama ba ito? Guarantees the right against self-incrimination. It protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, and it upholds the freedom of religion. If you look at it, yung dalawa tama ka agad. Tama ka agad yung answer mo. So, there is a very big probability that your answer should be all of the above. And tama ba yung letter C? Yes, tama yan. It's included in the Bill of Rights, yung to uphold the freedom of religion. Yan yung mga exercises natin sa all of the above. Punta naman tayo sa none of the above. The manager's candid remarks surprised everyone in the meeting. Choose the word that is closest in meaning to the underlined word. Pagtingin mo, reserve, frank, hostile, none of the above. The first question is wrong. The second answer is right. So, none of the above does not apply. Pero pag iba yung nakalagay sa frank, hindi frank, tinawag dyan ay bold, pwedeng none of the above na siya. But tinignan mo dito, the first answer is right, the second answer is wrong, eliminate none of the above kaagad. So, yan ang techniques natin in the answering of question that is none of the above or all of the above. Parang bonus na ito going into the examination. The other one is this. Ito na, basa. Kasi in the examination, one of the secrets actually of the examination is you must have the courage or you must have this practice to read the statement or the passages first before going into the answers. So, pag binasa ito, punta ka na sa statement. The city government launched a new urban gardening program to encourage residents to grow their own vegetable. This initiative aims to promote food security, healthier eating habits, and environmental sustainability. So, the following statement is, which of the following statement is supported by the passage? So, saan na? Is it A, the program will replace all commercial farms in the city? B, only senior citizens can join the program? And C, the program encourages people to plant ornamental flowers. Ano na? If you look all sa mga statements, anong answer natin dito?
Wala pong connection.
Okay, so it's none of the above. So it's very good if you would actually read the passages or the statements before going into your answer. So in this one, the first two answers being wrong, if you validate that the third answer is wrong, that is none of the above. Your answer is none of the above. If you examine all the arguments. Okay? So yan yung mga isang tricks or yan yung mga strategies kung paano natin i-take yung examination natin. So, going into the next one, ito naman, ignore unnecessary details. Have you ever encountered this one? Sa totoong buhay din, sa istoryahan, meron din ito. Meron yung sinasabi nila na the unnecessary details. You must have to ignore the unnecessary details. Just like din sa test taking, there are questions na ibibigay sa'yo, pero hindi naman pala importante. ang mga data or the details na binigay sa'yo in answering the question. So, you must have to take note of this. Parang pambulabog lang ba na question ang mga ito para mabulabog ka or it will throw you off track. The other one is to cut your momentum. In the examination taking, meron tayong sinasabi na momentum and that's actually included. That's actually included of one of our lectures on how to gain momentum, on how to track momentum going into the examinations. And along the way, when taking the examination, most of the time they are throwing you unnecessary details in a problem question that will throw you off track. Ano? So, aralin naman natin kung paano natin i-skirt, paano natin ma-answeran yung question without going into the unnecessary details. The example is this one. Number one, a 30-year-old banker worked out alone with an interest of 5%. What is the formula of the calculated interest? You see, the first example, sinabi na si Juan, work out alone with an interest of 5%. Pero dinescribe pa doon na banker si Juan. But when in asking the question, ang pagka-banker ni Juan, wala naman sa equation, wala naman sa question. Mas masaklap itong pangalawa. Maria bought 12 notebooks and 5 pencils. Each notebook cost 15 pesos and each pencil cost 5 pesos. She gave her sister 3 notebooks. How much did she pay for the notebooks only? You see? Baka yung mga iba dyan, inaalala na yung 5 pencils, iniisip na yung 3 na binigay niya sa kapatid niya. Pero ang question naman ay yun lang. So, in answering these questions, do not go into detail. Kung ano lang yung tinatanong niya, yun ang sasagutin mo. And don't ever think of the other details. How much did she pay for the notebooks? Ang hanapin mo lang dyan is the number of notebooks. And of course, the cost of the notebook. O, ito, isa naman. A farmer harvested 350 kilos of mangoes, 120 kilos of bananas, and 80 kilos of pineapples. He sold mangoes for 50 kilos but kept the bananas and pineapples for his family. What was his total income from selling the mangoes? Napakahaba. Pag tingnan mo dito, napakahaba yung question. Pero ang tinatanong lang naman pala niya is the items that he sold. Oh, magkano na ito? 350 times ano ang tinatanong dito? Ang tinatanong ay is total income from selling the mangoes. So at 50 pesos per kilo and he sold 350 kilos of the mangoes. So it's 50 times 350. The other one is Hannah. Anna has 5,000 in her wallet. She buys a pair of shoes for 1,750 and a bag for 950 pesos. Her friend offers her a discount coupon of 10% of the bag, but Anna decides not to use it. How much money does Anna have left? O ano na yung computation natin dito? Anyone?
5,000 minus 1,750 minus 950.
Okay, tama. Thank you po. Pag tinitingnan mo ito, ang statement that her friend offers a discount coupon of 10% of the bag, baka iniisip mo na yon while reading the question. Alisin mo na yon. That is actually insignificant. That is actually an unnecessary detail. Ang tinatanong lang naman, go back to the main question. Ang tinatanong lang naman is kung magkano yung pera na naiwan ni Ana or after buying the bag and the shoes, magkano na yung naiwan na pera niya. You see, those are actually insignificant portions of the test question. So, huwag mo nang isali sa equation or huwag mo nang isali sa computation. Yung, yung insignificant portion ng questionnaire. Okay? The next one is to eliminate wrong choices faster. Ano na naman ang gagawin dito? Kung alam mo na mali ang choice na yan, it would actually increases your chances of getting the right answer. Isa na naman na technique ito. And the first one on this is the two extreme rule. Balik na naman tayo sa absolute words. This is actually a part also of the absolute words. Pero ang ginawa nila dito, they use extreme language. And most of the time, incorrect ang kalabasan nito. Gaya yung napag-usapan natin kanina, they use always, never, must, completely. These are actually absolute words. Yung mga words na wala talagang leeway na pwede mo siyang palitan. Or in its interpretation, hindi mo talaga siya mapapalitan. So, anong examples nito? Gaya din kanina, the president must approve all laws without exception. Tama ba ito? Pero that is too extreme. Kaya nga may sinasabi nila na the veto power of the president. The president could either approve or disapprove laws presented to him by Congress. But it's not that he will disapprove all laws without exemption. That is too extreme. Because the president may approve all laws without exception. So this is more reasonable because the president has a discretion to approve or disapprove all laws. That is an example of the two extreme. Ang gagamitin mo na naman dito is your sentido común. Common sense ang sinasabi naman nila na gagamitin mo dito. Yeah. These are the other examples. Many people believe that reading book enhances vocabulary. Which statement below is most accurate according to this idea? Take note of the absolute words. Most probably, it is incorrect because of these absolute words. Dito, nandito yung always. People who read books will always have perfect vocabulary. Tama ba yan? Reading books can help improve one's vocabulary. If you never, that is an absolute word, read book, your vocabulary must be poor. Reading books completely guarantees you will all use words correctly. Most probably, the right statement or the most accurate statement in this example is yung wala siyang absolute words. It is more reasonable. Kasi yung may absolute words, it is an absolute statement. Hindi mo na siya mababago and most probably they are incorrect in the giving of the test examinations. Yan naman yung two extreme rules. And kadalasan lumalabas yan sa general information. The other one is logic and the other one lumalabas din yan sa verbal ability. Yan po ang example natin sa 2 extreme. The other one is the odd one out. Ano ito? What is the odd one? Oh, this is another example of the 2 extreme. Eating fruits and vegetables is part of the balanced diet, which is the best conclusion. You must eat, you must eat fruits and vegetables only to stay healthy. Fruits and vegetables completely cure all illnesses, including fruits and vegetables can support good health, or one must never eat any of the other foods beside fruits and vegetables. This is an example of the two extreme rule. Walang leeway of interpretation. Parang it is absolute talaga yung statement. So most probably the answer here is
C.
C. Tama. It's C. Ang trick dyan, you see, the presence of absolute words na inibigyan nila ang meaning ng statement ng absolute or there is no leeway or hindi na siya reasonable. Okay. How are we so far sa ano natin? Is it okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Going into the next one, it is the add one out trick. If three answers are similar and one is completely different, the odd one is usually correct. Add one out trick. Yung nakakaiba ba? Yung hindi, it is not usually a part of the group. It is not usually a part of the team. Ganun ito na technique. Kadalasan ginagawa ito sa verbal ability, logic. Dito kadalasan ginagawa ito. The add one trick out. Ano naman to? Sample natin. What is the example of renewable energy? You see? Ine-present nila solar, wind, coal, hydropower. Ano ang hindi renewable energy dyan? Renewable means hindi mo na magagamit ulit. Solar energy, the sun emits solar energy. It's actually renewable.
C.
Oo. C, actually is fossil. It's called the fossil energy. Pag nagamit mo na ito, wala na ito. Hydropower, that's actually water sa mga dams. It's called renewable. You could use it over and over again, just like yung solar. The wind and hydropower. Sa hydropower, pag nagamit mo siya, pwede mo magamit ulit. It's always renewable. The other one is which does not belong in the group. Joyful, happy, miserable, cheerful,
C.
Eh, miserable.
Miserable.
miserable. O, tama. Does not belong here. Pag tinitingnan mo yan, these are synonyms. Cheerful, happy, joyful, and miserable actually is an antonym. That's actually the add, add one out trick na laging lumalabas yan in any part of the examination. Pati sa mathematics, lumalabas ito. Most especially sa letter and the number series, lumalabas yan. And you must have to know the difference also.
I want.
The longer answer bias, ito naman. Often, the correct answer is longer and more detailed than the wrong answers. Ang ibig sabihin nito, ang answer, the longer the explanation, it's more likely that it is right. The longer the explanation, it's more likely that it is right. Ginagamit din to sa verbal ability. Example, sa answers, pinigay lang nila a type of government. Walang explanation niyan. B, a form of democracy where people vote directly on laws, a political movement, a historical document. Most likely, the answer is B, kasi may explanation yan. Let's take other, which is the best meaning of cautious, careless, and inattentive, acting quickly without thinking, careful to avoid danger or mistakes by thinking ahead and being alert, reckless in making decisions. Ano na siya?
C.
Okay, it's C. Mas
Tipo C.
mahaba yung explanation niya. Mas mahaba yung the longer answer bias, mas mahaba yung explanation ng sa answers. Okay? The other technique is focus on high score impact questions, and that is the 80-20% rule. Ano ito? This is usually called the Pareto principle. States that 80% of your success comes from focusing on the important 20% of the topic. Meaning to say, most of the time, 20%, the results, most of the time is that 80% of your result comes from 20% of your efforts. Meaning to say, you must have to really concentrate on the thing that matters. Yun naman yan. You must have to concentrate on the thing that matters. Ano ba yung importante going into the examination? Because take note na walang one course or one review fits all na review. It all depends on you because you have different strengths and different strategies. In one of our modules, na-tackle din ito on how to maximize your time and how to maximize your effort para it's easier for you to take the examination. Ano naman ang sinasabi dito? Prioritize the high value topic. Going into the examination, alam niyo ba ito na na-release ng Civil Service Commission? This is actually advisory number 5 on the August 10, 2025 examination. Binigay na sa inyo kung ano yung dapat kayong mag-concentrate na anong klaseng exam on the scope of the examination. Nabigay na nila sa inyo kung ano dapat yung concentration nyo. And the other one, having seen this scope, you must also have to have a study guide. A proper study guide para ma-maximize mo yung time mo and your effort mo before you take the examination. Alam naman natin, the scope of the examination is always 4. Apat yan: verbal ability, numerical ability, general information, and analytical ability. Take note that sa verbal ability, may Filipino questions po dyan. Ginawa nilang English and Filipino yan. And that, it covers word meaning. Nandyan niya. Sentence completion, error recognition, sentence structure, paragraph organization, and reading comprehension. Ang dami kasi po ng mga questions when it comes to examinations. Ang maganda dito, binigay na nila sa inyo kung ano yung dapat na ilagay nila sa examination. Binigyan na kayo ng hint kung ano yung ilalagay nila sa civil service examination. Sa numerical ability, basic operations, number sequence, and word problems. And sa general information, it's Philippine Constitution, RA 6713, meron at meron yan. Peace and human rights, issues, concepts, environmental management, and protection. Okay, question ngayon. O giyera ang Israel at Iran, lalabas kaya sa examination niya? Lalabas kaya sa examination niya? Most probably not because by this time, tapos na yung examination papers or yung test questions. And dito naman sa analytical ability, word analogy, symbolic logic, identifying assumptions and conclusions, and data interpretation. Sa data interpretation, dyan pasali ang mapa ba yung pasali dyan? Most usually, these are bar graphs. These are pie graphs. You identify, you make assumptions, and you make conclusions. You interpret data. Yan naman ang nandyan sa tinatawag nila na data interpretation. So, Dito pa lang, alam na natin kung ano talaga ang ipapalabas ni Civil Service Commission sa examination. So, ano nang gagawin natin? Make your study structure, make your study plans, concentrate on things that actually matter. And pati din sa questionnaire, napipili kung ano talaga ang questionnaire na gagamitin mo dito. Study past exams or topics. Saan natin hinahanap? Saan natin nahanapan to? Nahanap ito. Where are we actually most of the time? Most of the time, where could we actually find most of these hints? Actually, ito hints. Sa GC, sa group chat. Yung mga fresh na nag-take ng examination, minsan, pinalalabas nila dyan. There are more than 50 items sa mathematics. Ganyan yung ginagawa nila. There are more than 20 sa verbal reasoning. But regardless, the most important thing is maglaan ka talaga ng oras mo to take the guided review going into the examinations. Don't waste time on rarely tested topics. Isipin mo ito, ganito na. You're going into the civil service examination and you spent 1 month in hydraulics. It's a very good example. Was probably hydraulics would not appear in even one question of the examination because that is a specific topic only for engineering. Do you believe that going into the examination, you take the whole month for a low subject, sabihin natin, RA 7160, the Local Government Code of 1991. Lalabas ba yan? The most important thing here is to have, the topics, have the compact study plan, and maglaan ng oras. Kahit pa na daily, gagawa ka ng, sabihin natin dito, daily, you answer a part of your questionnaire. Ngayon, maganda kasi daily gagawin yan kasi you're only given 1 month and 3 weeks before the examination on August 10. So it is now the right time na mag-review and to prepare yourself going into the examination. Then, 2 weeks or even a week before the examination, na magre-review ka. One of the secrets actually that I have known very early for taking government examinations is you must have to have a time for the review. Bigyan talaga ng oras yan for the review. And ang mas maganda dyan is if you are doing it daily, mas maganda yan. You will have what we call the snowball effect. Konti-konti lang na nadadagdagan yung knowledge mo going into the examination. Without knowing it that a day or even on the examination, you are now well prepared. It will snowball, it will appear all in the examination. The other one here actually is the Japanese concept of Kaizen. That even if you learn one bit at a time, but if it is consistent, you are consistent, this will eventually accumulate. Yung naman sa Japanese concept. Because if you go into the exam, number one, unprepared, you cram, you study 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before the examination, surely, for sure, kulang po yan. And most experts, sama din natin dyan na nakakaalam na ng technique dito, they would suggest that at least you must have taken 3 mock examinations prior to dealing with the real thing or the CS examination. And taking the mock examinations, may technique naman dyan. May technique on how to mock the examinations para masimulate mo yung exam conditions going into the examination day. So it's very important that you don't waste time on rarely tested topics. Balik naman tayo sa binigay ng Civil Service Commission. This one, the scope of the examination may bigay na sa inyo. So if you're taking this professional examination, include the filing and spelling. May bigay na sa inyo kung ano talaga ang content ng examination sa August 10, 2025. So, wala na yung lecture. Thank you for being here. Ito na naman yung mga ibang modules are actually on the fifth, the Crack the Exam Code, Test Taking Secrets, and the Fail-Proof Formula. And if you want to attend more, we are offering other modules here. It's actually free here sa Zoom natin. We have the why failing before increases your chances of passing. Do we have retakers here? Just give me an okay or one if we have retakers here. Because according to experts, experience is the best teacher, diba? So don't be afraid to take it again. Maybe there are some things actually that did not fit na hindi mo nagawa prior to taking the examination. The other one here is the fearless exam mindset. Going into the examination, dapat maalis natin ang anxiety and you must have to boost your confidence. There are actually visualization and mental resilience technique kung paano po maaalis talaga yung kaba mo sa examination. And it's included in our learning modules. We have the battle-tested systems, study smarter, not harder. Ito naman, ay going into the examination, you must have to have a concrete plan. Meron ka dapat talagang plano going into the examination on how to tackle the examination. The time attack strategy, answer faster and avoid mental blocks. Usually kasi mga friends ako dito, nasa palaging sinasabi sa akin, ang problema nila is always the time, yung oras. Kulang daw yung oras. Sakto lang yung oras if you know actually how to use the time dito. And napakadaming strategies dito on how to answer the questions. We have also mental math. We have also logical strategies on how to answer the questions. Then the fifth one, that this is the Crack the Examination Code, Test Taking Secrets. Ngayon lang ito. The final sprint 7-day exam readiness and peak performance plan. We usually release this 2 weeks before the examination. Para hindi kayo, you should not ripen early. Alam nyo ba yung in reviewing for the examinations, you are also like boxers. Boxers do not train 2 weeks or 1 week before fight day. Otherwise, wala, mamamatay na sila sa boxing ring. What do they do actually? They set a schedule for their training and daily before going into battle, before going into the ring, alam nila that they should have to peak at the exact time. They should have to be prepared at the exact time. Kasi hindi naman pwede talaga napupunta ka doon na burn out ka na sa training. No. Kaya ang sabi nila, may game plan sila going into battle. Just like you, before taking the examination, you must have to have a game plan on how to take the Civil Service Commission. We're actually conducting our reviews on Wednesdays and Saturdays at the same time. It's usually an hour or an hour and a half. Mahaba na yung an hour and a half. And these are actually the topics. Pero on Saturday, may request po kasi yung mga ibang kasama niyo dyan about mental math. So this is usually a part of the time attack strategy. Mental math na naman. Mental math, and ano ba na naman ito? It's actually on how you solve mathematical problems using mental math. Hindi yung hindi kayo magpo-compute, but these are actually techniques, shortcut techniques on how to answer math faster. Kasi marami sa inyo ang sabi nila, ang problema nila is mathematics, but there's actually an easier way to do it on solving mathematical problems. So if you're interested, uh, every now and then, we'll actually contact you, or we will send, or ilalagay po namin yung mga announcements sa GC, sa page, or as usual, sa inyo po email. We have the mock test. The mock test 3 is actually scheduled on Saturday. Be reminded that it is copyrighted, and as much as possible, you email back the results para po naman ma-check natin, and be mindful of the time limits. Important, the mock examination, the mock test actually, before we give the mock test, is we will teach you on how to conduct the mock test, because the mock test is a simulation. Gagawin mo talaga yung examination na parang nandoon ka na sa exam room. Yun naman ang tinatawag natin na mock test. We also conduct one-on-one review sessions. Just contact us. Just contact us. We also conduct one-on-one review sessions kung gusto nyo magabihan natin. These are our products. We have the Pass It Now. It is a study guide, an ebook. Kung ano mong problema ka sa mindset mo, it's an ebook. We have also the Study Smart, Study Calm, and Pass. This is a study guide. And ito yung course. Ito yung binibigay namin na libre sa inyo. And we have the study planner. We have also the mind setting, or the secret of the, we have to crack on how you crack the examination code. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. I appreciate it very much. Pagpunta nyo, pag-visit nyo dito sa Zoom natin. And yung sinabi ko nga kanina, our next topic would be Math Ninja Moves, Solve Fast and Solve Faster. We're conducting this review every Wednesday and Saturday. And one of my advices actually is, if you have those reviewers, review them every day. Review them every day. And along the way, we will also teach you techniques on and strategies kung paano po ma-maximize ang mga reviewers nyo na yan on how to take the civil service examination. We are now open for questions. If we have questions na pwede nating maansiran. Here. May questions tayo. Pag okay na tayong lahat, kindly give me a thumbs up. And we will see you again on the next review. That will be, oo nga pala, e-books are free. May free e-books po kami. Meron din po kaming e-book na free. Just give me your email. And kindly yung mga walang email po sa akin, give me your email, because we will be sending mock test 1. We will be sending mock test 1. This is a bonus. Kasi as much as possible, you must have to have answered your mock test. So we'll be issuing mock test 1. Ang mock examination po namin is gradual din naman po ito. We have the easy, we have the moderate, then we have the hard, and meron po tayo ng mix na mock examination. So just kindly indicate your email there or contact me sa page po natin so that we could actually give you the mock examinations. Yes, we have free ebooks pala. We have free ebooks for you. And sino po yung interesado, just message me lang po sa mga free ebooks. Usually, ang free ebooks natin are on mind setting, on how you would actually prepare your mind going into the examination. Good night. Thank you for being here. See you again on our next session.